Good afternoon, traders. This is Nick Van Ice with your Trader's Edge update for Thursday, May the 7th. I'm going to talk about the overall market for a little bit. We're going to look at Tesla, do a little deeper dive on Tesla through the lens of our system and the three phases of trend and momentum with Tesla. We'll talk about the macro of Tesla. We will also briefly touch on Bitcoin and MicroStrategy, the trades that we've been talking about. And so let's get into it. Let's start with the S&P 500. Let me just adjust the charts here a little bit for us. All right, here's the S&P on a monthly basis. And you can see that the long-term trend, this is a monthly chart going back to 2014. We're in a bull market. You got to love this bull market. And there's an old saying that I learned from my dad, who was a famous hedge fund manager, that markets like to climb the wall of worry. So there's plenty of things to worry about right now, but this market is not distracted. It's focused on where the earnings are, and earnings have been amazing. About 80% of companies that reported have beaten earnings. Earnings estimates were at a level, I think they were looking for like a 13% increase over year-over-year increase, and earnings growth came in at 18 to 20%, maybe even a little bit higher than that. So that's what fuels stock prices. That's what fuels the markets, is earnings. So we can get ourselves all distracted and diluted with everything, the market and all these things, and we can hate on Trump. People, there's all kinds of people and all kinds of reasons to stay out of the market. I love this bull market. This market, liquidity is there. We got monetary growth. A market that is this resilient in the face of this type of geopolitical stuff with higher prices. There's a message here. There's a signal the market is sending you, and that signal is loud and clear. The AI super cycle is alive and well, and there are about 50 companies that are carrying this market, and you can say that that's narrow breadth. You can look at the indicators and say, oh, there's flags. I'm telling you, you got money flow, massive cash on the sidelines. It's still in the trillions. You've got a market sentiment that's still basically an average market bullish sentiment from the AAI sentiment reading. Before this bull market resumed, AI sentiment was down around 20, 25, 26%. Average is 35% bullish. I love this setup. I've loved this setup for a while. And I got to tell you, the Mag 7 trade, we hear about midterm years, how there's a 15, 20% correction on average in the market. Mag 7 usually corrects, doesn't do well in midterm years. Well, let me tell you, the way Trump orchestrated this and the way the macro worked out and the way the geopolitical stuff with Iran went, we've had our correction. I'm not saying we don't get a normal pullback. We will get normal pullbacks. But I don't see 15 to 20%. I see 5%. Okay. This market is moving on fundamentals. The earnings are there. The cash flow is there. The return on investment is there. And the rest of the company that's not participating, the rest of the companies, they will participate because they have a huge wind at their back. And that's AI, folks. Productivity gains are being unleashed like we've never seen in history. Again, we're going to get corrections. I'm not being like Pollyanna, like uber bull here. The fact is, earnings are there. Most of these companies haven't even fully integrated within a comprehensive way AI, but it's there now. This agentic movement is for real. The LLM for personal productivity. Everybody has a digital assistant. You don't need to have your secretary. You don't need to. This is big. This is big, and it's going to get bigger. Here's where I see us. I see this as there's three phases, two distinct phases, but really three phases. The first phase of this bull market in the AI supercycle is infrastructure. It's compute. It's data centers. The next level is the software. Is all the services that go around that come off of that AI support base, the foundation. And lastly, physical AI. It's robots, folks. It's the automated driving. It's the automations. It's all of the use cases that come off of the software that's being powered by AI. And the enterprise solutions and the investments, we're early innings. We're 1/3 of the way through this. I think the build out, I think the AI infrastructure build out, we might be late innings, mid to late innings. I think we got three more years in the GPU movement, and it's changing quickly. The landscape's shifting. So I'm not saying NVIDIA's got forever. I think NVIDIA's got another 6 to 9 months. But players like AMD and TSM and other companies that have their niche in this story, they got another year or two. And then we move on to the software companies. And right now the SaaS companies are getting ripped. But there's a whole nother layer. There's companies that have taken the AI and they've created enterprise solutions, and they've created ways of making other companies more valuable, more productive quickly, and transforming in nature and how they're doing it, like a Palantir, right? There's a bunch of those type of companies out there, not in the vertical Palantir's in. I'm bullish. Okay, let's get into the technicals. So S&P, there's the monthly. Trends are up. There's the weekly. The trends are up. We're not even severely overbought. We are in the overbought zone, but it's not crazy, right? It's not crazy. I think we can go to 7,600 in this bull market in the next several months. Now, will we get a 2 to 5% correction? Yeah, that's what markets do. I'm buying dips, okay? I don't see anything extreme yet. I'm going to look at the AI sentiment, and I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm going to look at the call put ratios. I'm going to be tracking all that stuff. We're not extreme yet, all right? Let's look at the daily. On the daily, we're very overextended. So we should expect a pullback at any time to the moving average envelope. And if we get a significant correction, at some point we get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when this impulse leg's done, we might even pull back to the 50-day moving average, something around 68.50, a 50% correction. I think the way it's setting up is we pull back and retest the all-time highs, somewhere around a 50% correction after we go higher over the next few weeks. Look at the stochastics here. Oh my gosh. We went through this sideways correction here. Look what stochastics did on the daily, and now we're turning up off 50. This is a strong bull market, folks. This is a strong bull market. I would not get in front of it. I would not be short. I would be riding longs like I am. And when we get a correction, I'm going to be looking to buy my favorite names. Here's what you do. When you got a market like this, it's crazy, strong like this, you use the correction to upgrade the quality of your portfolio. All right? So if you've wanted to own Palantir and you haven't in it yet, you're going to get an opportunity to buy Palantir. If you wanted to buy Tesla, you're going to get an opportunity to buy Tesla. Okay? Identify your top 5 to 6 holdings, the best quality names, the leaders in their respective space, and get ready to buy them on the next pullback. Now, hopefully you're in your names and you're riding, and maybe you're pulling back. Like the day AMD popped, it was up 18% a couple days ago after earnings. I trimmed a little bit. You know what I did? I trimmed an AMD because I've made 100% in the last several weeks, and I went into NVIDIA because NVIDIA earnings are still out there. You can bet your bottom dollar with their backlog. They're going to have blow-away earnings. They're going to have great guidance. NVIDIA's not going to disappoint, at least in my opinion. I could be wrong. But this is a time to maybe take a few chips off the table on some of these screamers that have doubled. Some stocks have tripled in the last couple of months. It's not to be afraid of it. Just take some chips off the table, all right? And buy the quality names on dips. All right, so let's take a look now. Let's shift to Tesla. Let's go back to the monthly time frame. Let's look at Tesla. This gets me excited, folks. I got to tell you, this is a Mona Lisa chart. The last time I used that word Mona Lisa was with MicroStrategy. I called the bottom. If you've been following me, you know I called the bottom in Bitcoin. We had a triple volume day when Bitcoin was down 15%. I said, that's the bottom. Okay? Not bragging, just telling you what happened. And since then, I called the base building phase of that, the accumulation phase, and the breakout phase. And I'm on it, and I'm on MicroStrategy. I call MicroStrategy a generational buying opportunity with a 4 to 5x return potential by the end of this year. I'm already up close to 70% in just 6 weeks. Here we go. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla, look at this. Look at this chart. You can complain all you want about Tesla. You got all these bears out there and sentiment's terrible. Everybody complaining about Elon and SpaceX merger and how Tesla shareholders are going to get diluted and how he sandbagged on the last earnings call. I was with you. I was there sweating it. I had a huge position in call options. It cost me $70,000 the way Elon framed what was going on in Tesla. But let me tell you something. The technicals are there, baby. Look at this. Look at this. This is the monthly time frame on Tesla. So after we broke out of this big 4-year range in Tesla, we came back and now look where we're sitting. We're sitting in the upper end of this range in an uptrend. Look at this pattern of higher highs and higher lows. Look at this. This is like the third time. And now we're finding support. And after a doji candle on a monthly chart, we took out a monthly high today. Look at this thing. And look at stochastics. We made new lows. Look at the K and D lines. We're down here making new lows over this low here, the corresponding low, and we're getting ready to curl and turn up. Now, this is pivotal, okay? As bullish as I am, as passionate as I am about this, all right? If we don't get the monthly close, this thing can reverse, all right? You've got to be agile, all right? Trading is not about knowing. It's about playing the probabilities. And I can tell you, if we get a doji month followed by a higher candle and we turn up on these monthly stochastics on a strong monthly close, there's about a 70% chance we're going to make new highs. We're going to take the pattern, we'll resume. That's all we're asking the market to do. But you got to be long and holding, and I'm going to be adding, okay, on the confirmation of a monthly close of a 408 on the monthly chart. Bullish, bullish, bullish. Look at this. Look at the weekly chart. Oh, good golly. Look at this thing. In a nice we're in an up move. We got the nice trend. We had a 5-wave up. Look at this from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. And now we had a 62% retracement, almost to the dollar. A 62% retracement. Are you shitting me? Look at this. We based out. We made a 4-week high. Last week we came back for a couple weeks. Now we took that high out. Look at where it happened at. Right at the base of the support of the 50-week moving average. This is as good as it gets, folks. Absolutely powerful. Look at the daily here. Look at that breakaway gap. That could be a breakaway gap. Not a measuring gap, a breakaway gap. You know what that means? You can take the height of this base from 414 down to 340. It's about $60. And what does that project? Added back to 468. New all-time highs. What do you think is going to happen if we get to new all-time highs? You're going to get FOMO kicking in. You're going to get massive short covering. You're going to get crazy. And you know what? The macro backs it. The macro, what's happening right now? Tesla's starting to scale unsupervised FSD in robotaxis. What also is happening? Cybercabs, okay, at production. The production ramp is hitting. Joe Tetmeyer saying they're doing more every day. This is the line, the production line. We're not talking pilot program. We're actually talking about a line, unboxed manufacturing process. You know what this means? This means when they get to scale, they can do 2,000 to 3,000 a day. Do you understand the capacity of Cybercab? So once the software gets up to speed, it's already 9, we're in the March of 9s already, you're talking about unfiltered, just explosive rally. We only need a few thousand robotaxis to be the leader above Waymo, all right? And everybody's going to know at that point we have the scale and the velocity momentum. The price is starting to discount that, I believe, all right? I don't have a crystal ball. I can be passionate and I can be wrong, all right? You got to trade your own, you got to do your own investments, you got to do your own trades, all right? But I've been following this stock for 5 years every single day. I'm doing research. This is bullish. The fundamentals are now as bullish as the macro, and it's happening. And you know what? The market doesn't see it. The average retail trader out there is bearish right now, all right? The average retail trader shaking their head, wringing their hands, pissed off that Elon sandbagged, all this stuff. It's happening, folks, all right? Again, this is a trade like any others, an investment like any others. Manage your own trade, okay? I have this in my portfolio. I don't have huge leverage on right now. I'm in a core position, a percentage of my equity, and I'm going to hold it, all right? Because I want to catch the big move the next 3 to 5 years, right? And I suggest you do the same, but you've got to see it and you've got to have your own conviction. You have to understand the story. You have to understand the company. You have to understand how the stock moves. Because if you follow my advice and you don't get it, you're going to get washed out and you're going to get pissed off at me. And I don't want to hear it, all right? You do your thing. You do you. But I'm telling you, I'm excited about this. The technicals, the macro, it's all lining, and the story is coming together. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe the SpaceX thing does muddy the water. Maybe the stock breaks out and then goes sideways. Maybe it gets hit. I don't know what that's going to do. But you know what? I know that the company, Tesla, is positioned to dramatically improve their earnings, margins, all the things that drive shareholder value, right? So if there's a little wobble, that's why I'm not leveraged right now. That's why I don't have a whole bunch of call options on. I don't know what the SpaceX thing's going to do. I wouldn't be surprised to see massive volatility. But when this thing goes, my core holdings are going to go. It's my biggest holding in my portfolio, and I'm loving it right now. All right, come on in, the water's warm. All right, let's look at MicroStrategy. This is kind of a little bit of a, I'm taking a victory lap on this one, and you guys, if you heard some of my previous stuff, you're taking a victory lap with me. This is ours. When MicroStrategy pulled back and flushed out in the low 100s, down around 111, 120, we saw the day. Let me show you the day this happened. A little bit of victory lap. On this day, when the market gapped lower, we were down at one point at the low, almost 15% in one day in Bitcoin. And after that, let me pull the volume so you can see it. You'll love this. This is hot. This is hot, 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 hot. Look at that big spike. The big spike. The average was way down here, and on the bottom day, we did this volume, massive. And then look at this. After the accumulation, after we kind of went sideways for a while and stabilized, look at that breakaway gap. We had another huge volume on green. Now look at this thing. We've bottomed out. We had the 1, the 2. That's the base. Leg 1 of 3 here. We came back to the breakout point, the old highs above the averages, and now we're rallying. I'm telling you. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I love this setup. We're in intermediate momentum is up. Look at the weekly chart now with me. We're above the weekly averages. They're starting to turn up. We are getting overbought, so we could get a more significant correction at any time. You've got to manage risk. You do you. I'll do me. But you got a nice monthly candle here. You made a new monthly high, which is confirmation. You've just bottomed out. So look at this on a cyclical basis. You know, this monthly thing. You know, these are 5 to 6 month. No, like these are 6 to 12 month moves. When you go in an oversold zone like this and rally, we could rally for the next 6 months, 7, 8 months, the rest of the year. I think that's what we're doing. I don't think we have to retest the lows. I think on the monthly chart, we've done it. We've based. Now we're in leg 3, which is the trend following phase, according to Dow theory. I think Bitcoin can rip up to, our MicroStrategy can get up into here around 238 next, and then I would expect a retest of the all-time highs around 400 or 500. That's why I called this a Mona Lisa trade, a generational buy opportunity last month when we went over this. I went over this several times in my videos. All right. Well, you know what? A lot of excitement. Making money's fun, and to be totally candid with you, a lot of times when I have gotten this excited, I see a lot of setups. I notice that markets can turn quick. So as excited as I am, and as fun as this is right now to be an investor and trader, and it's fun to see your portfolio at all-time highs, be alert, because a lot of times when you're feeling the best and everything seems like the market can never go down again, is the top. So just be careful. You know. Follow your risk management rules. Don't over leverage. Don't get a whole bunch of call options on. Right now is the time to ride your winners in the core. Don't add leverage, okay? And just enjoy the ride. And on the pullbacks in the market, look to upgrade the quality of your portfolio. Buy the names that you've been admiring. Like if Micron pulls back, 20 or 30%. Micron, the memory company, right? Or if, Palantir's had the big correction. So if you really want to own Palantir, put that on your radar and look to enter Palantir. Look at AMD. Look at what AMD's done. I'm going to pull this up real quick. You got to love this stock. I mean, I got to revisit this. We were looking at it back here. I put a buy signal out here. We caught this rally. We went sideways. It kind of hurt. But in here again, I got bullish again, and I called for 350, right? That was when the war was going on, and AMD was showing strength during the war, and then it led the market higher. Look at that explosive rally on AMD. I mean, wow, that's a game changer. That's a life changer right there if you got real money in there, right? So AMD right now is my third or fourth largest holding. I did trim some. I trimmed some in the high 300s. I trimmed a little more in the 400s, and I'm buying NVIDIA. Let's look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA hasn't had its big run yet. Real quick, let's look at NVIDIA here. You gotta love this. We were in a base for almost 6 months, right? Going back to October, all the way through recently, we broke out. Now we're pausing above the breakout. New all-time high. We got the pause. We love to see that. Let's look at the daily chart. Went through a whole stochastic cycle. Look at the Mona Lisa here. Woo! Big impulse, breakout, new highs, pull back to the bottom of the moving average envelope, which was these highs over the last 6 months. Established support. Now you're rallying again, coming out of an oversold zone. Are you kidding me? Look at this. You see why I trim my AMD and I'm buying NVIDIA? Whoa, doggy, this is the real stuff. I love this market here, you know. So barring Black Swan, barring the Iran situation going south quick, and you know what? There's going to be ebbs and flows to this. Trump doesn't need to thread the needle and get out of there right now. I wouldn't mind a couple more, you know, scares, and the market needs to correct. It really does. So. Anyway, I'm long in the tooth. Hope you had a great day. Hope you're as excited as I am and you're making money hand over fist in this market. We'll talk later. Take care.